The Sega Nomad is a portable Sega Genesis released exclusively in North America in 1995. Unfortunately for Sega, gamers were not terribly interested in the hardware, and it was discontinued after selling just around 1 million units. The console itself is big for a portable and probably won't fit in normal pants pockets. However, it definitely qualifies as a handheld. It fits comfortably in your hands with good access to the D-pad and 6 face buttons. Sega Genesis cartridges fit nicely into the top loading slot, and it works well enough as a self-contained unit. The D-pad is excellent, easily surpassing the quality found in current-gen systems. The 6 face buttons are spaced nicely and provide decent tactile feedback. Unfortunately, 20-year-old LCD technology isn't as good as today's, especially when building a system on a budget. The screen has a washed-out, noisy picture, and it never looks great, no matter how far you adjust the brightness knob. Also along the bottom is a second controller port, headphone jack, and volume knob. The audio quality is decent for its age, but has a hollowness to it you wouldn't tolerate on a modern 3DS or Vita. The biggest problem, however, is the battery pack, which houses a whopping 6 AA's. This isn't as big of an issue today as it was in 1995, as rechargeable batteries are reasonably priced with excellent performance. But the fact that this pack is external is rather odd, clipping onto the back of the console. It doesn't get in the way or anything, it's just strange. The preferred method of power is AC. Thankfully, the Sega Nomad works with the normal Sega MK2103 AC adapter, eliminating the need for the bulky battery pack. It also contains a standard Model 2 AV output, letting you play on a television instead of looking at the smallish subpar screen. Surprisingly, the Nomad outputs an excellent RGB picture and better than average sound, making it an awesome Sega Genesis. Sadly, this is the biggest problem with the Nomad. It is a far better Sega Genesis than it is a portable console. Perhaps this is what has held prices in check over the years. I purchased mine for the same price they go for today, well over a decade ago. I honestly wouldn't recommend the Nomad to anyone other than collectors. The system will play region-free Mega Drive games, thanks to the cartridge slot lacking the notches usually found on North American Genesis systems, but there are better ways around this issue. And unless you have an unusually limited amount of space, a traditional console is a far cheaper option for playing the excellent library of games the system has to offer. Personally, I think the Nomad is a neat little system, but was clearly a waste of Sega's resources. The R&D, manufacturing, and advertising costs could have been better utilized on the Sega Saturn. Sega really enjoyed making and releasing new hardware in the 90s, and the Nomad is a symptom of this misguided management. Overall, the Sega Nomad is an interesting piece of Sega history, but unless you're a hardcore Sega fan or a serious collector, your retro gaming dollars are much better served elsewhere.